I think my first memory of Sagee Woods was before there was anything there, and we were walking along the slopes of the mountain, cutting our way through the rhododendron, and we came to an amazing spot, an open spot with this terrific view overlooking the valley called Horse Cove. And I remember making a sketch, a little landscape sketch, and it was early in the morning and the sun was coming up and it was really bright in my eyes, and we were all standing there in awe of this amazing sight. And that turned out to be the spot that we created the overlook.
I think we really fell in love with highlands in the area, and we're passionate gardeners. But when we saw the piece of property and had the opportunity to preserve it, it just really inspired us. And everything that followed, pretty much followed in the inspiration to do the right thing with this truly remarkable piece of property. We spent a lot of time trying to select the kind of architecture and the right architect to carry it out for us. And we came upon some works that Keith had done that we felt were truly remarkable. He's just a unique talent.
The design of the home is orchestrated around the idea that all of the lines of the house, the views of the house, culminate in the center. So you start with the large roof line of the center of the house, and each roof line beyond that gets smaller and smaller. So it makes for a very organic shape, but it also really helped us seat the building into the landscape. And so the house takes the same shape as the topography.
The drive up is a drive through a woodland garden. You just see beautiful native plants on both sides of the drive. And then you see this gorgeous Tudor structure that looks like it's been here forever.
It's a timeless design. It doesn't matter if this house were 100 or 200 years old. There's no reason to change it because it's so well seated into the landscape. The way I like to design spaces is an intuitive approach towards the feel of a room, both in scale, size, and material, all considered at the same time. So instead of designing only in plan or only in elevation, I like to design in 3-dimension.
It was really remarkable how the different artisans entered the picture. And they came here and they saw the vision of what we were trying to achieve, and they just really dove in head first.
I love this style because it's really all about the choice of wood, the warmth and the depth of this product that's organic. So this house had everything that a woodworker would dream of. It just fed all of my passion, my love for this type of work. A lot of the panelized walls in the house were done out of what we would call a common grade white oak. And we literally took these boards, planed them into 1x6, 1x8, random width, tongue and groove, and hand planed every board. Every little peg was touched with a sharp razor knife. If you look at the paneling, the tight joints, the way it's all put together, is just unique in America today to achieve that level of craftsmanship. I
remember looking at some siding that some of the guys were putting together, and they were taking great care to miter the corners of the exterior siding. And I said, well, are we going to end up caulking these corners? And Dick turned around to me and he said, well, if you do it right, you don't need caulk. And that says it all about everything on that house. It is as good as I think can be built in this day and age.
My wife Kathy and I really enjoyed collecting the right things for the house. And the wonderful texture and color of things like this piece, it's a Black Forest piece from the 1880s from Europe, really helped us define the color and texture that we wanted for the house.
So I think his love for the English antiques and the paintings and things probably is where that influence of what Keith came up with that design for an English country estate. With all the heavy beams and the iron light fixtures and all, I mean, the fabrics need to be a little heavier. There's chenilles and heavier fabrics and textures. And then maybe upstairs in some of the bedrooms where the rooms are a little smaller in scale, we use more linens and kind of a little bit lighter. You know, still rich colors, but not as heavy of a feel. But the ladies that make the draperies went up there, set up big tables, took all their sewing machines and made all the draperies on site. It could stay decorated just like it is now and just last, because I'm not a trendy person. I don't go with trends. People say, what colors are in right now? I said, I don't know and I don't care. Whatever we like or whatever feels good for the house is what it should be.
When I decided to go out on my own, I sort of reconnected with Keith Summerhour, the architect for the Fisher project, and let him know that I was on my own. And he said, well, as a matter of fact, I have this great project, and you would be a good fit because the client's interested in talking to Rosemary Veary, and you might be a good liaison for that.
Well, Rosemary is quite a character. Probably was, until her death, the most renowned English landscape gardener alive at the time. And she really brought a wonderful perspective of how to balance colors, how to bring the totality of it together in a way that is unique and provides a special variety to the experience of the gardens.
So Alex and I were fortunate enough to fly overseas and work with Rosemary for about a week in the Cotswolds at her estate.
They knew that she would understand the architecture, would understand the type of gardens that should be in association with that house. The closer you get to this house, the plantings and the design philosophy becomes a lot more refined. They're all essentially in a big planting pot or container, because the grade was all established by those walls. You don't realize that when you're walking through those gardens, because they're very flat and they feel right and they look like they should be there, but it's all being held together by these massive garden walls. But you can stand in a formal garden on the edge of one of these walls and look out into the natural landscape, and it's very seamless. It meshes into Mother Nature.
The amount of plant variety is endless, but also they have made sure that the garden is appropriate for its setting. The gardens are lush. It seems to just fit the surrounding.
There's always sort of a human aspect to it, so you never feel like you're overwhelmed or intimidated by the space or the architecture or anything else. That feels extremely comfortable, very cozy, very intimate, warm, inviting.
All 4 seasons of the year, we love being out here. Everything's constantly changing. It's really a neat project to be involved with.
They did it the right way, and it'll be a garden and a house for eternity.
You know, we really planned the use of this property for entertainment. And the way we laid out the spaces were really intended for that purpose. And the sort of succession of rooms and the flow of activity were really designed for that particular purpose. So the dining room here seats 12, great fireplace. The proportions of the room that Keith designed are just perfect for that kind of setting. The pavilion is another perfect place to entertain. On summer evenings in the fall, it's just a real joy to us to share it in these ways.
This is such a magical place and has such an ambiance to it. It is a sacred place because these mountains are that anyway. But when you take a place like this and you respect the surroundings and you cite something beautiful on those surroundings that looks like it belongs here, then it can't fail to make a huge impression, which it does.
I think that as a home, it makes a statement that large does not mean ostentatious, that it can mean tasteful and comfortable and livable, and a place that you want to spend your precious days.
I think reverence would be a word that you would tag. You could put that right over the door. It's really honest work.
This project was so fulfilling that if I were to never do another project architecturally of this style, I would be completely satisfied that I've done the best job I could do. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
At this stage in life, I think the thing that's really important to all of us is experiences. We all have plenty of things, but we really value special experiences. And I think that's a big part of the attraction that brings people here. Brings our friends and people that we don't even know to the garden tours and social events that we sponsor. They come here and they really feel a special sense of place.
Highlands has always been a place that has drawn artisans and people that have a true passion for whether it's music or art, and so the town has always thrived off of that. So what's been really important with Bob's Home and what they've done is it's allowed us to do a lot of the fundraising to keep some of these things in our town that otherwise we would not be able to have. So it's through that philanthropic theme of the home, being able to give back and bring the community together and to be able to support so many different worthwhile projects has been really amazing. It's been very, very generous of them to do.
This home was built to last for generations. And I think that the quality that we put into it, the slate roof with 5 different kinds, different colors of slate from 3 different states, the graduated size of it, it was all built to last for literally hundreds of years. And we made no compromises in any of those regards. We really wanted to create something as our work of art, if you will, that would be here to be enjoyed for many generations to come.